super heavyweight title of New England between the champ, Greg McGee from Hartford, Connecticut, with the record of 5-2 and 3 knockouts, and the man who's just about ready to enter the ring now wearing the black trunks, John Big Grease Mihalos from Cranston, Rhode Island, with the record of 2-1 and 2 KOs.
Heavily anticipated rematch for the New England 4-round Super Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first.
Well, since this is a rematch, what changes do you see each fighter making to try and get an advantage in this fight?
Well, the question really is, did Greg McGee take this fight seriously? He took care of John Mihalos so quickly and easily in the first fight. Does he feel as though he didn't have to train enough for this fight? So it's all mental.
270 pounds.
John Mihalos has to be extremely focused. He's going to have to keep his hands high because Greg McGee is much quicker than him. And Greg McGee was able to get over that quick jab and right hand, that 1-2, in a split second. He caught John Mihalos on the tip of the chin, and that was it. John Mihalos couldn't recover. So it's all a matter, it's mental now.
I was just going to ask you, being a rematch, what does John Mihalos have to do to get out of his head to make sure that he can fight with the champ, Greg McGee?
What he has to do is, during the fight, he has to close the distance, cut off the ring, get Greg McGee in the corners, keep him from getting distance. That's what he has to do tonight. If Greg McGee can move in this ring, and it's a small ring, it's only an 18-foot ring. So for two big men like this, there's nowhere to go. Like Joe Louis said, you can run, but you can't hide. But as you can see, the disparity in size.
Please welcome Greg McGee.
But once again, Sean, John Mihalos does not look properly warmed up. If he gets caught cold again, it'll be a replay of the first fight.
We've seen that with a lot of fighters tonight, especially with Lawrence Insane. We saw that he wasn't even breaking a sweat. Is that really the trainer's fault, or is that like the fighter's fault for not getting properly into the mental zone?
Well, what a trainer will do, he'll be in the back, in the dressing room, working with the focus mitts with his fighter, getting a little sweat going, so that when they come in the ring, they're not cold. Now, sometimes you will see, like in the Jonathan Barrows fight, Jonathan Barrows was in the back room, and his opponent was out here, basically cold. Okay, so sometimes it can work against you if you're not smart. But most fighters should get warmed up in the back, and they should also be wearing their robes till the final second. That fight's going to start.
Okay, both men are wearing the black trunks. The only difference, Greg McGee has the flag on his right side. As you said before, there is a love lost between these two fighters, so hopefully that'll come out right away.
John's keeping his hands high, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to close that distance, and he comes to a wide overhand right. It's very wide and telegraph. Oh, good right.
Once the connect,
trading punches in the middle. What a barrage.
Once that big wild meat hook of John Mihalos connects, though, they can really do a lot of damage.
Well, John has to worry about not punching himself out.
Yep.
He's got to cut off that ring and go down to the body on Greg McGee. Greg, on the other hand, has to move side to side and keep that jab moving on John, just like that. But he's got to keep John off him. He's got to keep John thinking. See, when he punches with the jab, ooh, and a good left hook.
Great left hook by John.
But he took it well. Greg McGee took it well. John trying to bull him into the ropes. That's where he wants to keep him, in the corner.
So what you're saying is that Mihalos is really looking for the quick knockout, because if this fight goes into the 3 to 4 rounds and he starts fatiguing, it will really be McGee's fight.
Well, it could be detrimental to John if he punches himself out in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He won't have anything left for the fourth and could get caught with his hands down. You notice he came out with his hands really high, and he's trying to move forward, a la George Foreman. Use that pushing power to try to close that distance. But his punches are a little bit wide. If he throws punches with a lot of intensity and they're wide, he could wear out quickly. Oh, he's down! said he would do. He said he was going to put Greg McGee through the ropes. And I don't know if Greg McGee can continue. 7, 8, 9. What's the referee doing? He's going to continue. This fight should already have continued. Greg McGee looks like he's really hurt. He's going to grab and clinch. Good body shot now by Greg McGee. Mihalos stops punching. And now McGee comes. Oh, the right hand. Oh, now Mihalos. Oh, right hand. He's down.
Wow.
He's down.
Right. He looks a little stagnant after this
up.
one.
He's taking the count. 5, 6, 7, 8.
As we have
He's all right.
just over 2 minutes left in this first round, we can see that the Big Greek's really just shrugging off any punches that McGee's thrown and just really coming out with everything right now.
He has McGee in real trouble now. He's running. Oh, a good little right. McGee's got to get that hand up. He catches more punches than he's going to go.
Mihalos.
They're wild looping shots, but they have effect because he's such a big man.
We have about 15 seconds left in this wild opening round as the crowd here at Rose Summit in Tuxet is on their feet in support of the big guy from Cranston.
But Chubby Gomes should warn him. Those punches are in the back of the head. They've been coming rabbit punches.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
Chubby Gomes should warn him.
Less than 10 seconds round in this opening round of this fourth fight. And you have to say that the opening round decidedly goes to the Big Greek, John Mihalos.
Well, that definitely scored a 10-8 round. In some sources, you might call it a 10-7 round. 2 knockdowns. That's right. Ron Rigo just told us. Ron Rigo just said to me, he did what he said he was going to do, and he told us, or his trainer told us at the press conference, Larry Guglielmetti said, John is going to put Greg McGee through the ropes, and that's exactly what he did.
Now, what does Greg McGee have to do in the second round to try and combat what just happened in this opening 3 minutes?
He has to try to neutralize John Mihalos. Actually, what he has to do is go to the center of the ring and grab John and spin him. Try to keep John turning. You see, in a 4-round bout, John can probably go strong for 4 rounds, but what McGee has to do is neutralize him now. Or he's keeping that jab, that's a good idea, but he has to stop John's pace. John started at a torrid pace and he's in the rhythm. Now Greg McGee has to take John out of his rhythm. Oh, he hit him at the break.
Chubby Gomes warns Greg McGee.
He's going to have to take control of this fight, Chubby Gomes, or it's going to get out of hand.
As you can see, though,
uppercut.
John Mihalos is still...
John is coming in, and sometimes he's coming in recklessly. Now McGee's trying to keep him at the end of those jabs.
But what he is doing is he's still keeping those hands up. He's still keeping them up for the defense.
He's a little too... Oh! The referee's going to have to take control of this fight. Right there, because if he does that again, it will warrant a point being taken away. Greg has to get his center of gravity a little lower, and he's going to work down to John's body. If he works to the body, John's hands will come down. I assure you. He's got a little weight over that midriff. So if Greg can step into the side, divot angles, and dig down to the body of Mihalos.
Oh, Mihalos just comes barreling out again, though, with those rights and lefts.
If Greg doesn't put anything out there, if he doesn't put a jab or any punches, John's just going to walk him down and get him into the ropes and give him punishment. See, Greg's punches are coming round. There's a good punch to the body. That's where he's going to go. John really putting everything into his punches, and what's happening is he's overstepping. He's smothering his punches because he's putting so much intensity on his punch.
With about 1.5 minutes going in the second round, you can see Greg McGee really trying to settle into his game plan.
Greg looks like he has recovered from that first round. Looks like he's back into it, his eyes are clear, and he's trying to come up the middle with uppercuts.
Now it's Mihalos who looks just a little bit tired.
John's starting to wing, Sean. He's starting to leave himself open. He's starting to walk to Greg McGee with his hands down, and that could be danger. He's got to keep them hands high.
We talked about it earlier, how he had those hands up early, and that it might go down a little bit in these later rounds, but he's still coming with these wild rights and lefts.
He's coming with the punches, but they're wild, and the power is all to the outside. It's not at the end of the punch, Sean.
Under 1 minute left in the second round. That's been pretty even for the most part. Mihalos really tried to connect there.
Well, you see,